Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Aspire32 and with the ongoing series on various podcasts on Aspire32. I know that many of you have been requesting me on the channel for various different topics, which are really useful for the undergraduates and even the clinicians and postgraduates. And today we have another important topic, that is MPH in UK. Although we have already one podcast which is made for the MPH program in USA, but many students want to go to UK. And fortunately, one of our own student, Dr. Sai Kruthi from KLE Institute of Dental Sciences, is right now with me on this podcast, and it's a pleasure to have her on this podcast because she is doing the MPH program in the Newcastle University of UK. So first of all, welcome to Aspire 32, Dr. Sai Kruthi.
Thanks for the invite. And with all the work you've been doing, you inspire a lot of students out there. And I'm really glad to take this opportunity on this platform, because I remember when I was looking for moving abroad, looking for information regarding MPH, specifically in UK, I didn't find a lot of information on the internet. So I'm really glad you're doing this, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
That's absolutely true, and it is very difficult to find people who give the information, and especially although we have a lot of information regarding the MPH program in United States, but UK is something which is very difficult because there is not lot of clear cut information. We did one podcast on how you can directly go into the licensure exam in UK, and this is something new for me, and I'm excited to hear about your progress and your journey in this path. So first of all, let me ask you the most important question: that why did you or how did you thought about moving to UK after your BDS in India?
Sir, the criteria for choosing a country varies on an individual basis. Because for me, I wanted to look not only how the universities work and how the MPH course, but I also looked into the duration of course and the finance involved, all the expenses that are being involved. So I have decided to move abroad quite earlier, even before my internship, but I wasn't sure about which country to choose. And then I listed out my criteria, and I found that perfect match is UK for me, because it's offering 1 year full-time course with a little less expensive compared to any other country, and with top ranked universities in research. So that is how I eventually made a decision to move to UK specifically.
That's really very nice to hear that you had a vision of going to UK before coming to internship. And I have seen students that they often get so much confused, and they spend 1 year 2 year after their internship deciding that. So did you have anyone to guide you in this process, or this whole application process you did on your own?
Sir, as you said, there is not much information that is handy, especially on internet or anything. So I approached a few professors in my college and wanted to know about how public health itself is. Because we as dentists, whatever we have learned in our BDS is all basic. So I really wanted to know before deciding that, yes, I'm going to go for MPH for sure. So I looked into universities and I did take help of consultancy, but I didn't completely rely on them, because they have a lot of experience. They can help you shortlist the universities, but definitely it's your research, because again, the criteria differs from student to student. I wanted to go to universities which are ranked better when it comes to research. So my criteria varied. They helped me choosing universities according to the intake I wanted to go, because there are two intakes in UK, September intake and Jan intake. And September is a huge intake where a lot of reputed universities open application, especially for public health. Jan intake is also better, but you don't have a lot of options to choose. So September intake, they let me know how many universities are open for public health. And because of COVID time going on during last March, it was a pretty challenging work to do. But yes, so looking into universities all by myself and doing my own research helped me a lot.
Which type of exams you actually have to appear in order to get into this MPH program in United Kingdom?
Not much, as it is mentioned that English language proficiency exam is the must. So that is the only mandatory exam you need to give, IELTS. And basic requirement for almost all the universities is 7 or 6.5. And it has to be minimum of 6 in every aspect of it. Like there is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So it be 6 and more, and the overall score should be 6.5. That is the only mandatory requirement. That's the exam. And luckily there is no need of GRE as of US.
Of course, there are many paths of going to UK, and with our conversation, I understand that you were interested in research, and that is the idea of going to the MPH program. So when you decided that you have to do it during the internship, you approached a consultancy. Do you know how much, maybe roughly how much they charged you for maybe the application process or giving you help regarding this process?
It's absolutely free. They don't take any charge. They're just there to help. Probably they might be getting a little uh, percentage from the universities, but they don't take anything. They don't charge anything to the student. They just help with the application process. And the best part is for UK applications, most of the universities do not have application fee as well. So application is also free. You can apply how many ever universities you want. There are very few universities who has got application fee, but it's not quite expensive.
Mm-hmm. And this consultancy, this is in India and they are linked to the universities?
I've gone to IDP consultancy, and they are linked to the universities. They help shortlist the universities. They help with the application form.
And what is generally the process of this application process? What all document they expect from you, and how much time did you take to finalize this application process?
Coming to the application process of it, firstly, you need a little paperwork. It's all your transcripts, all your academic certificates you have, and IELTS, your IELTS certificate, and rest are the same. It is typically the same like any other admission process in any other country. Your SOP, LORs, all of that is mandatory, and it is viewed overall. Like they consider all of this. They consider the transcripts, IELTS scores, SOP, LORs, and everything to consider you in, and even to give scholarships.
So there is a scholarship for the international students. How much is the fees in general without the scholarship for international students for this 1 year MPH program?
Without the scholarship, talking only about Newcastle University, is £22,800. I think it comes around 21 lakhs in INR.
That is the just fees without the
Just the
other
tuition fee.
expenses. And how much the scholarship one can expect from the universities if you are eligible to it?
Sir, again, it differs. It's important to look for the scholarships that is available in each university you apply. Few universities have a huge scholarship, like they might have a waiver of half tuition fee, full tuition fee sometimes, and there is international scholarship separate. So you need to look into the university website to know which scholarship. But I think international students most probably expect at least £2,000 as scholarship. I got £5,000 on merit basis. So it's the same. It's a holistic review. So you're being considered on basis of your SOP, LORs, transcripts, whatever your academics have been, your work experience have been. Accordingly, they'll give you the scholarship. There is no separate application as such. Every university will consider while looking into the application form itself.
Okay. And out of all the criteria, do you think maybe one specific criteria has a lot of weightage in order to get higher scholarship?
Then I think IELTS score and a strong SOP, statement of purpose.
Okay. And this consultancy helped you to write the SOP, or did you write it on your own?
No, sir, they haven't helped with the SOP and LORs. They don't help you write anything. They help with the organizing all the documentation, all the paperwork before the application and the application process. But SOP and LORs is your thing, which you need to do it all by yourself. And it has to differ from every student. It has to be your own. So, yes.
And how did you prepare for the TOEFL or IELTS exam? How did you prepare? Did you prepare it for this exam during the internship?
Yes, sir. As soon as I started with the internship, I took a coaching in Belgaum. There is a IELTS coaching, but I'd gone for 1 month alternate classes, and I think that was enough. I just took 1 month of coaching. I had 1 month preparation, and I was all ready to give after that.
Okay. And how much time did the application process took once you submitted the document?
Sir, it depends again. Because of COVID, there was a delay. Otherwise, probably it wouldn't have been delayed for so many days. For me, it took between 2 weeks to 4 weeks, 2 weeks to a month to hear a decision from them, to receive a conditional offer letter from them. So probably because of COVID, there was a delay. Otherwise, in 14 working days, it should be there. You should hear to the decision.
And once you got the admission done, you must have applied for visa.
Yes, sir. But there are stages in this. First, if you don't have any documentation that they require, they give you conditional offer letter that you're in, but you need to meet all the conditions. So once you meet all the conditions, you get unconditional offer letter, no matter how early you apply. Like, for example, if it's a September intake, they open applications from March itself. So even if you apply in the March, the last certificate you need from the university is CAS. CAS is acceptance of the student. That is a certificate. That is CAS certificate, which you require to get a visa. But that is not issued before 3 months of the course beginning. So you need to wait for 3 months until they open CAS for all the students. So by then, if you met all the conditions, if you have unconditional offer letter placed, you can ask the university, they send you CAS letter, and with that, you apply for visa just before the course starts.
And how much is the visa fees generally for the UK? And what type of visa? Because see, it is when we talk about visa for United States, we have F1 for F1 visa for student. There is H1, H1B, and there are so many which are very clear. But I find it very difficult to get information about the UK visa. So which visa you have to apply for as a student and shift there?
It's a tier 4 general student visa you need to apply for, and it doesn't have any interview as such. Like in this, they don't have any interview. Your documentation should be right. They give you visa based on documentation, but I don't say there is no interview at all. It is there in the process, but it depends on which visa office you are going to, where your slot is. At least with the one I had gone in Hyderabad, they didn't have any visa interview to any students. So basically what happens is, it's the tier 4 general student visa. They take the documents when you go for your slot, when you go for visa. They take all the documents. They ask you to submit your passport there and leave. And within 14 working days, if it's a standard visa you have applied for, within 14 working days, they send passport back. And that is when you know the decision, if you got the visa or no. So they check all the documents. I think if all the documentation is fine, and especially the finance related documents, if they are, I think the whole process should be okay. It should be fine.
So you have to pay the fees before getting the visa. I'm sure that otherwise the university won't issue the letter.
Not the entire fee, 50% of fee you can pay.
And the remaining 50%, when do you pay?
After Jan or by the end of the Jan, you need to pay the second installment, that is the other 50%.
And why MPH? Why do you think the students can opt for MPH? Maybe there are other routes, but why MPH? What is the benefit for the students in future?
I think the simplest answer is the current situation we are facing right now. That is the COVID-19 infection, the pandemic itself. So when we saw how the pandemic took over globally, we understood not only for the governments, but for everybody, we understood how important it is to have a strong healthcare sector, how important it is to build a strong healthcare sector. And for that to happen, public health professionals are going to play a vital role to meet the policies, to promote health, to do more of research and development. So definitely, at least considering the current situation, there is a lot of growth and opportunities in the roles you play. And public health is something that is not so conservative, and it doesn't tell you you need to work in a particular way. It is quite diverse. You have a lot of aspects to it. You have global health, you have health policy, statistics, epidemiology, environmental research, and a lot of things come in place. So whatever interests you, you can always make a career out of it. There is nothing you're confined to. So it's quite diverse. There are very range of opportunities out there. There is so much you could do with this public health degree.
That's nice to hear, and I agree that someone who excels in any field will find the opportunities. How does the day start in your school? What all, how many hours you have a theoretical classes, or do you have any practical classes?
Unfortunately, because of the lockdown in UK, there was no on-campus teaching for us. It has been online the entire 2 semesters. But now from May 17, they have started on campus. But otherwise, I can only talk about how online teaching worked for me. We have classes thrice a week. It's usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And every day there is 2 lectures. So that is the theory part of it. Other than that, other than the lectures, we have a lot of group assignments, projects. The thing is, we don't have exams here. We don't have exams at all. So you are being assessed based on your projects, based on the assignments they give. You're being marked throughout in whatever work you do. Probably a seminar or a simple assignment, a group project, you're being assessed throughout. So there is no one thing called exams like how we had in India. The entire course, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know the entire subject in order to pass. Yes, that's how it goes.
What are the future prospects? Now you finished your MPH. Are you allowed to work directly after MPH?
Yes, sir. This year, UK has announced 2 years post-study work visa for all the international students. For masters, it's 2 years post-study work visa, and for PhD, it's 3 years. So after the course ends, you have 6 months. And usually before this, there was only 4 to 6 months you have after your masters to secure a job. But now they're given 2 years of work permit where you can do any job. There is no particular requirement such to get this.
And what else you can do after your MPH? Since you did dentistry and then you have shifted to MPH, don't you miss dentistry and you want to go to dentistry again?
Yes, I do miss clinical practice sometimes, but I'm not going to go back right now. Probably I'll make a career out of public health. I want to work in this field. As I told earlier, you can go into various sectors like epidemiology or simple market research or statistics, environmental research, or any aspect that interests you. Apart from this job sector, you can go for the academic side of it, like a PhD. If you're looking for funding, if you have any research project in mind, you can always go for PhD. That's a good option. And also, talking about MPH itself, there is two kind of degrees again in UK. That is Master of Public Health. A traditional master degree is 1 year full time. There is also something called Doctor of Public Health course. if you want to move a step ahead to being a doctor of public health, you can always opt for that. That is 2-year full-time course. The basic difference between MPH and Doctor of Public Health is in Doctor of Public Health, the whole SEM is only meant for vocational internship, or basically a research internship. It's the applied part of whatever you have learned throughout your academics. So that's the basic difference. You can go for that also. There are a wide range of opportunities.
Okay. And how easy to get the job after MPH program? I'm sure you are finishing it in another 2-3 months, but you must have spoken to your seniors. How easy is to find the job there?
First thing is there is a lot of help available, definitely. With every universities, there are student unions that help you write your CVs the proper way, or apply it a proper way, look for job opportunities. All of this, the help is always available from the university side of it. And but again, although there is wide range of opportunities, as I said earlier, and there is increased opportunities right now because of COVID in public health sector, it is a little challenging for a fresher to get a job. Talking about dentists, now after I completed BDS, I didn't take any gap in between. Right after my internship, I started doing my master's. So basically, all the work experience I have with public health is just some paperworks I've done, some conferences I've attended, and some volunteer work during internship we have done. So all that is also helpful. But again, when compared to other students who has got a work experience, who has done internship or volunteer work or any work with any organization, that will be ahead. That application will be ahead of any fresher. So to secure a job as a fresher is challenging in UK or probably anywhere. Now that everybody is looking for people with experience, everybody asks for experience. It is quite tricky, but I don't say it's too difficult to get a job as such, because what I suggest to overcome this is what you do apart from academics during the course is always important. That adds a lot to your CV, because apart from academics, for example, now that everything is working remotely, everything has gone virtual. So there are a lot of internship opportunities you could do at your convenience, just sitting at home. So take that opportunity and do some internships or probably a volunteer work during the course itself. If you do not want to pressurize yourself so much, doing your assignments and still want to work as an intern somewhere, you can always look for opportunities like that during your breaks. There are quite a lot of breaks. There's winter break, there's spring break in between, there's term um, period, and that will be really helpful. During that time, you can either look for a part-time job or probably take up some courses, and especially people who want to take statistics or epidemiology as majors, if they have got any gap after their graduation and from the start of the master's course, if they have got any gap, I would suggest them to look for software packages, software learning, like SAS or SPSS, Minitab. There are few software packages which are useful for statistical analysis. So by doing all of this, what happens is once you join your master's, your scope is high, not only to get a job after masters, but also during your academics, during the course. Because what happens most of the times is our professors or anybody, any researcher, look for students with such background to help them with some research project that is going on, so that they don't need to train students to help them. They do not really have a lot of time. So if you have already done that course, that software application you've already learned, which they are using in their research work, they would take you as a uh, research assistant, and you'll be paid well.
Then maybe you build your experience on that, and that's how you grow. And that is absolutely very similar to any situation. When I finished my post graduation, suddenly in India, people will not think you, not consider you as a very good dentist. You have to prove yourself, but that journey always starts that way, and that is rightly put by you. I always ask one very important question to every podcast, in every podcast to my invitees, that what was the one thing which you learned in our institute or in India which helped you in UK?
One thing I learned by the end of my BDS course is interacting with professors, which I never used to do before. That has helped me quite a lot in interacting with professors here, or probably networking, you can call, because networking is something very important when you move abroad to get any job opportunities, because you never know uh, who is gonna uh, tell you about what. So networking is quite important. I think that is one thing I learned from KLE University. Talking to professors, interacting with students, there's quite of interaction. So that helps me being confident when I'm talking to my professors here as well. So yes.
And of course, there is always a positive side and a negative side of any journey. I'm sure you must have missed something which you may not find in UK. Is there any something which you always miss in United Kingdom?
So probably family for everybody.
Okay.
I mean, being all by yourself itself is a challenge when you move from your own country.
So I want to ask you the last question. What is your advice to the people who want to do MPH program in United Kingdom?
One thing I would suggest student is to have a clarity as to what their final goal is. Like if you just want to consider MPH as a pathway to abroad, and eventually you want to settle as a dentist, you want to give ORE here, then you should think of the university you select, because you're investing a lot of money when you do not want to make a career out of it. But other than that, it's important to do your own research as to which university you want to get into and which majors, which concentration you want to choose. And it's quite flexible when it comes to UK universities, that even after choosing a particular concentration, if I attend one or two classes and I wanted to change the module, I wanted to change the subject because this doesn't interest me anymore, there's always an option for you to change. You can talk, but of course there is a deadline, but still you can opt for a change in a module. That really helps. So having uh, your own research done and having a good clarity about what you want to do and planning it out is something that helped me a lot. I would suggest the same.
Thank you, Sai, for giving all that very important information. My dear viewers, as a teacher, I am always proud that there are students from our own institute who have achieved so much and they agree to come on Aspire 32 and share the positive and negative sides of their journey along with the struggle, what they have done to reach and achieve this success. And I wish Dr. Sai a great success here, great success in whatever you plan to achieve after your MPH. We'll always be happy to have you back at our institute and meet you and remember those old days of teaching you as a student. Thank you so much for coming on Aspire 32 for all the with all this information.